I'm Beth Berry. I'm Vice President of Business Development for Real Green Software. We're based in Walled Lake, Michigan, and today I have part two of a great talk with Bill Nunan. Bill is the CEO of Real Green. He's just finished up his first year this spring. And in part one, we talked about everything exciting that happened in year one. And so this is more of a future-oriented focus, Bill. I've got a few questions that our customers have been asking me.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Okay, so you talked about the addition of Karen Maloney. She is our Vice President of Client Success. That's a role that we've never had at Real Green before. And I had shared, it was so frustrating for me to know we have such passionate, experienced folks in our tech support and training and onboarding, yet we would continue to learn from customers, and I think you did as well in your first year, that somehow we were still missing the mark. What's going to happen with the customer experience?
Oh, absolutely, Beth. So it was great to have Karen join the team. As I mentioned in part one, deep experience in software. And I just, before we get into this conversation, just want to really define customer success. Customer success from our perspective is onboarding, how we introduce new customers to our solutions. It's also training, both initial training and ongoing training for our customers, because whenever a customer has, employee turnover, staff turnover, it's very important that we provide the vehicle or platform for new employees to come up to speed on our software and services. And then the third element of customer success is technical support, having the team that can respond to customer questions, whether it be a how-to question or respond to an issue that they're experiencing with the software as quickly as we can. And as I indicated in the first video, the feedback that I got from customers centered around a couple of key themes. One theme being how responsive we were and how quickly we could respond to their questions. Another key piece of feedback that I got was around the knowledge level of the teams and the fact that we had a number of different products, and sometimes it was difficult to get to the right person who could provide the support. So, with those pieces of feedback in mind, we are implementing best practices in our customer success organization to dramatically improve the responsiveness of the support team and also dramatically improve the onboarding of new customers or existing customers that are taking on new products or upgrading from SA4 to SA5, our core software, so that the customer journey and experience is much more efficient and effective for customers to learn how to use the solution. So let me break this down and talk about the different elements. Core to what we're doing is creating RGS Academy. And RGS Academy will be an online platform where there's a tremendous amount of content available for customers. Video content primarily that will support how-to questions. If they have a question on how to use the software for a particular function, like how do I launch a prepay letter or message or things of that nature, we'll have a very short video that details that out. And that will pivot to much more self-service type of model where upon a request, we can provide access or point the customers to that content. And that will really compress our response time. As we also talked about before, we have a very seasonal business. And when we, have our peak season, it's very difficult to keep up with customer demand. And this is just best practice. It's best practice to provide tools like RGS Academy and the content necessary to answer how-to questions so we can get that in the hands of our customers very, very quickly rather than having to wait for a callback. The model we had before was call comes in, gets logged, and there's a period of time before a customer success or support representative calls the customer back. And unfortunately, that model is not conducive to getting down to single touch resolution, for our customers. So RGS Academy is a very important piece of our program moving forward. We expect to be in a position to launch that early next year, but we're going to be implementing pieces and parts of that sort of new support model between now and then. And I've given my team, a big, hairy, audacious goal of developing 1,000 video elements by the end of the year We are well into that process right now. We're probably, around the 500 mark, but we're in a process of organizing that content into, an easy, accessible platform and putting the tooling in place that we can respond to customers very quickly through an online help form and things of that nature. So that's, a big element. Now let me talk about training. RGS Academy will, in addition to providing sort of answers to how-to questions, it also will have a tremendous amount of training content that will be packaged up into curriculum so that, a particular persona, as I call it, or type of user, whether it be a field technician or a sales representative or someone providing customer support, and our customer organizations can go get trained, complete that curriculum, and get certified on how to use the Real Green software and services that we have. So that's a very, very important piece of it. So that will also be integrated into our new onboarding journey. So we're going to have a process where we have group training for customers, and then that will we'll have finishing training where we can monitor the adoption of customers to make sure they're effectively using the software, so we can have one-on-one type of engagement to make sure that everything is working well as they adopt different products in our portfolio. And another, piece just to illustrate the types of automation that we're putting in place. Historically, when we onboarded a customer, it's 4-hour sessions of sort of, training, which is very intensive, with the first session largely devoted to configuring the software and setting it up based upon the customer's specific, business and what they're doing, whether they be, a core lawn care customer, a landscape maintenance customer, or a pest control customer. We've gone through that training, and it's a bit tiring. Our customers would get worn out early in the process. So we've actually developed tooling that allows us to enable our customers to complete the data set needed to configure before we even get into training. And it's a much better experience in the customer journey to do that, because you're not on a call live trying to pull together the data sets that we need to configure. You can do it on your own time, and when ready, we can pivot, and double down on the training activity and actually set up the system to do that. So that's an example of how we're trying to streamline the process to make it far more effective and a much better customer journey from onboarding all the way, to continuous support as we go forward. The other thing we're doing in our technical support or support component of customer success is setting up an N-tier system. And this is customary in software companies to have first-level support, second-level support, third-level support, so that, the very complex issues can be identified very quickly and get into the hands of the right people that can actually respond to that and address the issue that the customer has. So generally, first-level support is basic types of questions, and there can be how-to content that can be provided through RGS Academy. But we want to make sure that we're getting the customers to the right representatives at Real Green to address their issues. So this is an example of the type of work that we're doing. And we're doing this relatively quickly. As I mentioned in the first video, this is our transformation season because it's a slower time of year for Real Green. So we're implementing a lot of these changes over the next couple of months. And I know you're going to spend some time with Karen, Beth, and she'll provide a little bit more detail and color as to what these things look like. But the whole objective is to be more responsive. And I also mentioned the second point of feedback was around sort of not getting to the right person at Real Green. So we're merging our support teams in a way that we have people supporting all the products. So that involves a tremendous amount of training. And we've developed our internal boot camp or training program to get those folks up to speed. And that will be incredibly helpful. So you get to the right person on the first interaction with Real Green that can solve the issue that the customer has. So a lot of objectives to be accomplished over the next few months. And in addition to that, we're also significantly expanding the team, which is a very important piece to support this. So super excited about the transformation that's happening there now, building on the great passion we've had before. As you mentioned, our team is very passionate about supporting customers, but we need to enable them with the right tools and support to get the job done the way it should be done.
So you're saying we are going to take some of those that were experienced in one area, let's say CAW, customer assistant website, and they will be able to provide generalized tech support across all of our products?
Yes, that's the objective. And we've been in the process for the last, I'd say 7 or 8 months in bringing those teams together. But it's critical that we, enable the team with the right training content doing that. And that's all the stuff that we've been setting up, to affect that convergence. Because sometimes a technical issue, given the integration of the products, it's not clear on first view whether it's a Service Assistant 5 problem or a customer assisted website problem or an automated marketing assistant problem. And that's why the cross training is so important. And it also emphasizes why we're very focused from an engineering point of view on strengthening the integration across those products as well.
I'm really excited about the new onboarding. So it hasn't been that many years ago, probably 6 or so. Elizabeth Halavity and a couple of others were our on-site trainers. So if you purchased our software, they would travel on-site for a week. And those folks are still super users of our system. You really got a deep dive, but the problem was, as you know, there's a lot of turnover in key positions in this industry. And so when that person left, the owner would call us and say, hey, I need Elizabeth to travel back here because we didn't have a repository for that content. So that's very exciting that they will be able to self-serve this content.
Yeah, that's a very important piece of the equation. So that's our core model. For very large customers that we're onboarding, we'll still put together a plan that will likely involve some level of in-person training, but that's very rare at this point. For the bulk of our new customers, this core model will be far more effective than what we've had before. And just having that curriculum and content continuously refreshed and available 24/7 is very important because people can complete the training at their own pace. They can complete the certification process. And again, it's going to take us a while to build this out completely, but that's the direction we're going in, with a launch planned early next year, but we're going to introduce pieces and parts of this over the next few months as we go forward.
I'm excited to have Karen speak to our customers as well. She's telling me about some of the new metrics and what gets measured, gets managed. And I don't know that we've ever had metrics the likes of which Karen is putting into tech support. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very, very important that, obviously I mentioned before, like our customers, Net Promoter Score is the overarching metric that we're very focused on as an organization. All customer-centric organizations key in on that metric. But the important thing is, what are the metrics or key performance indicators that feed that really move the needle for our customers? And it's very important that we understand our response times, that we understand, sort of the success rate, that we're verifying the usage of the software as we're onboarding a new customer. And these are all KPIs and elements that we're monitoring before in a far more disciplined way than we ever have before.
The number one metric in an inbound call center for lawn care is first call resolution.
Yeah.
And when I joined Real Green, it felt like a hot potato getting handed off from customer assistant website to SA5 to this could be that. So I'm very excited about the new infrastructure. I think we will first call resolution within Real Green.
Absolutely. I'll call it first contact resolution because today there are lots of ways that customers interact with Real Green, not necessarily a phone call. But we want to present different ways for customers to interact and expect to have actually email be a far more active sort of engagement model because a customer can fill out a support form online and get a response with the content to go address the issue very, very quickly as opposed to calls. We'll obviously continue to take calls, but we're opening up new channels of communication to get to that one contact resolution metric that you mentioned.
You are correct. I left the call center world in 2013 and it was still first call resolution. So we are also going to have Caitlin Pomeroy talk about her new role as VP of product, which is very exciting. I can't believe the amount of innovation we've seen even in the last 12 months, but what can we expect for Real Green software in the next 12 months? What's going to be new and exciting there?
We, as you mentioned, we have a lot of elements to our roadmap. And I think, as I mentioned in the first video, getting to that comprehensive roadmap across all of our products and services is absolutely critical, because it brings a lot of discipline to our development process and predictability in terms of what we're building. And it becomes a platform that we can use to communicate with customers with reliability as to what we're building and when it's going to be delivered. And again, generally, you know, a 2 or 3 quarters out, we'll have a pretty solid view. But we also want to have a longer range view that includes key elements of innovation that are very important. But to answer your question, over the next 12 months, there are a lot of key themes that we're working on. In the first video, I mentioned the notion of closing any remaining gaps between Service Assistant 4 and Service Assistant 5. We do have just a couple things we're about to finish up. So that thematically is starting to wane out of our roadmap, and we're going to focus more and more on innovation. But I also don't want to downplay, there are a lot of differentiators today in SA5 over SA4. So in the aggregate, it's a far, far better product, even though it's delivered as a software as a solution, a software as a service platform. So, you know, that's, you know, a big shift that I talked about in the first video, but we're very close to sort of finalizing just a few remaining gaps that we needed to close. But we've talked earlier as well about APIs. Developing an open API library is a big theme on our roadmap, and we've been executing that in a sequential way. And that's very important, because what it will enable in the next 12 months is more third-party integrations or partnerships. And, you know, as you know, we've announced our LawnBot partnership a few months ago, which is key, a great automated bot basic selling tool for our customers. It drives a lot of efficiency in the selling process, but getting the API library built out will continue to allow us to integrate to third-party companies that support marketing, companies that do soil testing, integrating with QuickBooks and other accounting platforms, integrating with BI and analytics tools. So customers who want to have a more developed or sophisticated data set that they can run their business by will have access to that information. So that whole theme around developing the API library is a big important thing, and we're going to make a lot of progress over the next 12 months in developing those APIs, you know, announcing new partnerships, and enabling our customers to work with other players in the ecosystem that have best of breed solutions. So, you know, we'll continue to announce those partnerships as we can enable them from an integration point of view, but that's a very important theme. Another important theme when I think about software is our automated marketing assistant product. It's always been delivered a lot of value in helping our customers grow, and customers that use it versus those that don't see several percentage points different in growth rate. It's like having an automated marketing team available to drive, you know, customer acquisition. There are many, many products on this platform that help run automatically when you get them set up. But, you know, we have the opportunity to strengthen that product. So we're actually in the process of completely refactoring or rewriting that solution with much tighter integration to Service Assistant 5. And that's a process that will have our first generation product available within the next 12 months. Which is very, very important. It's exciting because we got a lot of feedback from customers around sort of the visibility, the metrics to measure the effectiveness of campaigns, and also the ability, they wanted much more flexibility in the product to sort of self-define campaigns and do things of that nature, where they've had to rely on Real Green to actually do the work for them. So it will empower customers to do more with automated marketing assistant. Another key product is our customer assisted website. And we're also in the process of rewriting that solution as well. It needs to be refreshed. It's a bit dated technology, and it's a very important platform because it's how our customers' customers interact with our customers, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's sort of the customer portal for our customers. So it's where they take payments, and it's where they action, AMA email campaigns. So if we're doing, a sort of email campaign to existing customers to cross-sell a product, that actions, it flows back through our customer-assisted website. So it's very important that have the latest and greatest technology. So we're re-platforming that. Also, that will much more tightly integrate with our Service Assistant 5 product as well. So not only will it look better, have much more flexibility from a look and feel and branding perspective, it'll actually allow us to enable enhanced payments functionality and also a much tighter integration with AMA, our automated marketing assistant. So that's another big theme that we're working on. So we've got a lot of stuff, but it doesn't stop there. When you start to put together a long range roadmap, it's important that you sort of start now for things that you might be working on, 24 months out. And so we have projects underway today to sort of re-envision or reimagine or significantly enhance things like routing, or developing mechanisms to track and optimize fertilizer and chemical usage, or developing tools to help our customers drive higher retention, which is very, very important in the green industry. So we've got a team of expert folks, interns that are operations research specialists from the University of Michigan that are working on sort of defining our longer term roadmaps for these products. And as soon as we can open up the capacity, given all the priority work we have right now, we're going to start to develop sort of enhanced solutions. We already have great solutions in routing. But we can continue to refine that. It's very important because that goes to the core of our customers' businesses in driving efficiency in their teams. It's a field services business, technician centric. So how do we drive increasing levels of efficiency and squeeze more effort out of routes and more production? So we want to make that a continuous process that we can improve. So even though we likely won't drive a lot of significant enhancements there, we've got a great solution over the next 12 months. We're setting up over the next 12 months for our future roadmap and how we're going to continue to evolve those products moving forward. So those are, some of the key themes in core software in our software portfolio over the next 12 months. A lot going on.
You talked about, to the leadership team very early on, a key learning for you was that we launched SA5 too early, quite candidly. And
Yeah.
you identified that. And so we are very, very close on parity, if not there, for 90%, 95% of our customers are using it very successfully every day. But talk about how you also allowed us to provide infrastructure for quality assurance that is going to ensure we don't have some of those same problems moving forward.
We've been expanding our QA teams, providing more test coverage. That's the ability to test all of our products before they're released to customers, because there's nothing more disruptive than releasing software with a bug. You have all these great enhancements, yet unfortunately sometimes something gets broken. And this is common in software. You're never going to be able to release software with perfect quality. It's just the nature of developing software. But we have an opportunity to substantially improve the quality of our software. So not only have we developed a team, we're expanding our test coverage, we're implementing a number of best practices and systems that allow us to measure the quality of our releases and also take key lessons learned from that process and feed it back into the development process. So this is just an area where we lacked a certain amount of maturity, and we're just implementing best practices from a software development point of view.
Very exciting. So one of the most transformational days of my career was a day I spent with Martha Stewart. And she had 68,000 products at the time. And I said, how do you come up with 68,001? And she said, you find a need and fill it. And when I came to Real Green, in very short order, I realized our founder, Joe Cusick, had done just that. His involvement in the green industry, he would find opportunities, most prominently our integrated marketing services. Do you feel like that's still part of the Real Green future?
Oh, that's a core element of the Real Green future. You know, as I said in our first video in our discussion, we view sort of three core elements to the business and what we offer: our marketing services and products, our core operational software, SA5 and Mobile Live, you know, supporting field technicians, and payments. So those are the cores. Marketing services is very, very important to us. So when I say marketing services, I'm talking about our print, traditional mail, direct mail marketing capabilities, our digital marketing capabilities, you know, websites that we produce, you know, our SEO optimization services and our PPC services to help customers very efficiently acquire new customers. And then our software, like Automated Marketing Assistant. Very, very important to us and very important to our customers. And I think it's been one of the key differentiators for Real Green, because marketing solutions help customers grow, and most of our customers, the vast majority, have ambitions to continue to grow and develop their businesses, and it all comes down to a series of services and products that optimize our customers' marketing spend to drive very effective you know, customer acquisition costs. So what we're doing there is we've got a number of initiatives underway, but I think at the highest level, we've hired a product manager that looks across all of our marketing software and services and is developing an integrated roadmap for those solutions. Historically, we've operated as sort of three distinct service and product lines, but it's very important we bring them together, because the next frontier in delivering value for our customers is how they integrate, and in particular, how our marketing services integrate with Service Assistant 5. And therein lies one of our big focal points. You know, we're in beta right now with our first generation closed loop marketing solution. And that basically allows leads to flow all the way from the front end in the website and track the source at the campaign level back to Service Assistant 5, so our customers can action those very quickly, because the response time on new leads is absolutely critical to drive the close rate. We want to get on very, very quickly. So we have a product, you know, it's being in beta with several customers, and we expect to launch that formally in the next couple of months, you know, once we've been through the beta process and taken any feedback for final refinements. But that's an example of the magic of the integration and how valuable it is in driving efficiency, so that nothing falls through the cracks. And then you can actually measure and see the return and the effectiveness of that spend at a campaign level. So, you know, metrics in our command center, which is our sort of metrics dashboard tool to measure the effectiveness of those. So it illustrates the importance of the integration, because, you know, we're integrating, you know, from our website back to SA5 with good metrics that we can track, and leveraging actually our first generation, you know, lead form API as the platform to enable that. And it illustrates how important it is that we develop an open API library to enable not only third-party integrations or our customers to integrate some best-of-breed solutions, but it also enables us, even within our own portfolio, to drive better integration across our products that we offer today. So no, it's very, very important. And the data says that customers that adopt our marketing services and software grow at a much higher rate, 3 to 5% higher in the first few years, because it is effective if they adopt the program and embrace it. The other thing about bringing all of these products and services together, our vision is to get to the point where we can provide customers a comprehensive marketing plan that includes all of these elements. It includes digital marketing. It includes direct mail marketing. It includes, you know, email marketing and automated marketing assistant. How do you bring that all together with a lot of brand consistency, a true omni-channel marketing solution, and then basically manage the spend across those different categories to maximize the effectiveness? So we are driving towards this vision where we can provide an annual plan, because the most of our businesses, many of our customers have very seasonal businesses, and there's a marketing and sales cycle, there's an operational cycle, there's a maintenance cycle, take a break and then come back and do it again. But the marketing has to be threaded in there, and there are distinct campaigns across those different marketing solutions that are very important. And they're all effective in their own right. But it's how do you optimize the spend across of those to get the most bang for the buck for the marketing dollars and driving customer acquisition.
Joe Cusick coined the term set it and forget it marketing. And most of our clients came to us as practitioners in the green industry. They weren't marketing experts per se. And so it allows them to get up to speed very quickly, but we didn't have a very strong way to measure ROI. And I think most of them have an unlimited appetite for that which works. But prior to closed loop, we really didn't have a way to illustrate that.
Yeah, it's important. That is important to demonstrate the return and make sure that the investments are going to the marketing activities that drive that highest return. And that's why that closed loop is very, very important. And it certainly helps us. We want to be able to prove the value of the spend to Real Green and demonstrate sort of hard numbers. What did that customer cost to acquire? And is it below whatever the company's particular threshold is? And companies have varying appetites for spend on a per customer basis. But that's really what we're driving to. And then it also allows testing as well. We can try different campaigns and see what's effective. We call it A/B testing, and then put more investment in the more effective types of campaign activities that drive growth. But central to that too is not only the front end marketing solutions, it's the database inherent in Service Assistant, and having a good core set of customers that you can upsell or cross-sell new products to, but also prospects that can be marketed to as well to generate new business. So our aim is to tighten up that entire system and make it far, far more effective. The products have always done very well independently, and it's just going to get even better when we bring it all together in a more seamless fashion.
In 1992, we sold ChemLawn to TruGreen. We only had 12 acquisition source codes. I spoke to one of our customers last week, and they, with the advent of digital marketing, they have 1,000 sources between A/B testing and Nicole Rutherford. When I had her on Facebook Live, it's mind-blowing the number of opportunities we have to acquire customers now, but you have to have closed loop in order to measure that.
Yeah, it's very important to have the right technology and the solution to do that. But I also want to emphasize the experience at Real Green. I mean, the marketing team has a lot of experience in best practices catered directly to the green industry that are very, very effective. And when you work with Real Green, not only do you get the tooling that's going to get better and better over time, you get the expertise and the coaching. What campaign types, what design types, for a direct mail piece have proven to be effective over time in our industry. And that's expertise that we prize and will continue to nurture as a team.
Our customer, Kyle Flanagan of Lawn Aces in Augusta, Georgia, told me, I love working with Real Green Digital Marketing because you guys speak my language. I've worked with other agencies and they don't know lawn care. So you're right about that. What else does Real Green plan to share with customers this year? And we own chemical turf care. Will we take a deeper dive into some of the sub verticals in the green industry?
Yeah, I think that's an important question, Beth. One of the things, when I joined the organization and we instituted product management, which also product management operates too from a strategy point of view. It's like, trying to understand this green industry was one of my first goals and objectives. And we literally went out and profiled, over 30,000 websites, and we continue to profile websites. And what we're really trying to understand is by prospect size, what services do customers offer? Because, there are certainly pure play fertilization lawn care businesses, but many, many businesses offer multiple service types. Fertilization lawn care, landscape maintenance, mowing, landscape design build, pest control. So, it's a very, complex space to understand. And what we wanted to make sure we were doing was putting our investment behind the solutions and products that are most relevant to customers through the lens of fertilization lawn care, which is our core. That's where Joe Cusick came out of that business. The first generation of Real Green really focused on that. And over time, we've been building into these different, adjacent markets and service profiles. Cutting to the chase, what we learned through that analysis is there's a certain level of service affinity to fertilization lawn care. So if fertilization lawn care is going to be our core, how do we build out the product to strengthen the fit for customers that do multiple services? And what we learned through that process is that highest affinity is arbor. The second highest affinity is mowing. Third highest affinity is landscape maintenance. Fourth highest affinity is landscape design build. And then the fifth is pest control. And we're just operating in that sort of sequence because we know by operating in that sequence, we are strengthening our product for customers that center on fertilization lawn care. We have a great sort of outside pest control solution today, and we'll get better and better at that over time, but we've got to approach this in a disciplined way to strengthen the solution, for customers that do multiple service types. So fertilization lawn care will continue to be the core, but over time, we're going to build that out. So our near-term priorities, if we look out over the next 12 months, is to strengthen our fit in mowing and landscape maintenance. And by that, I mean, we support a number of these customers today, but we're going to get better. We're going to get better at estimating. We're going to get better at proposal generation. We're going to get better at reporting with specific elements of the solution that really strengthen Service Assistant 5 and Mobile Live for those service types. So, and then we're going to keep doing that. We're just going to keep building out in the green industry and strengthen over time, but we have to do it in a more disciplined, focused way than we have before, because we have to finish things, get it right before we move on. And what's great about field services software in the green industry is customers can adapt their practices a little bit and use the software effectively today, but it will just strengthen the fit over time, improve the value proposition for customers, and that's just the natural evolution. So we've got great software today. It's just going to get better in terms of fit and supporting customers in the green industry.
There's a lot of work still to do.
Yes, there is.
So I've really appreciated the cultural elements you've brought to Real Green. I was reading something this weekend about companies that are struggling with the work from home model really didn't have good culture to begin with. And if you didn't have it before, it's going to be tough to do it now. So I'd like to invite you back and talk about that another time, but let's talk about the flag behind your desk. Because when you brought these in, you got all of us a Real Green flag, and you said, we're going to take team pictures and when you go to clients and trade shows. And to be honest, I thought it was a little bit hokey, and no one's had more fun with it than I have at trade shows with key prospects, celebrities. It's been a blast. And mine isn't on the wall because I have to keep it in my car for when I see a celebrity. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very disappointed that you didn't get that flag picture with Michael Jordan. But I knew you were going to say that. We'll work on that next time. But you're the best, Beth. You've really embraced this, and you don't hesitate to seize the moment and take an opportunity. But why did I do this? Culture is very important. People on my team are passionate about Real Green, and there's no better way to show the passion about Real Green than to fly the flag. It's a great symbolic gesture, and I love the pictures. We can celebrate that. And folks who participate in this process, we put their name in a drawing at the end of the year for $1,000 to their favorite charity. But I just love seeing the flag. And when we could travel, people would take pictures all over the place. If someone was traveling to the Grand Canyon, we'd get pictures. So it's nice to see the Real Green flag all over the
country and several international trips as well. But my favorite theme is when the flag is flown in front of the competition, just to demonstrate that we're committed to providing a better solution than they are. And those are the best. I give extra points for folks that go out of the way to do that. And I've gotten some great ones from conferences like GIE or the conference. It's been good to see that happen as well. So no, it's just important that we all take great pride in Real Green, what we stand for as an organization, and it's one element of a culture system that we can talk about later. But it's very important to drive team engagement, which is very important when you're going through a period of a lot of change. Some people struggle with change, but you gotta lean on the values and what we're trying to accomplish for our customers. And elements of the culture system are geared directly towards that objective, like the flag.
So what are you up to this week? What is a week in the life for Bill Nunan right now, early August?
Early August, right now we've got, as I mentioned, a lot of transformation initiatives underway. So it's very important that we stay focused on the transformation. We talked about customer success. In the first video, I talked about the importance of us sort of migrating our server infrastructure to a private cloud solution. So we've got some big media initiatives that we're working on, but it's also our budget season. We're on a fiscal year that ends, at the end of September. So it's very important that we get a thoughtful budget together that encapsulates all the investment requests that we have for the board. So we're very focused on our planning process right now to make sure we're building the best case for incremental investment to help expand the team and do what we need to do to support customers. So that's been a big focus. We got a few more weeks to get our core plan together, and the team has been working through that. And it's now everybody's involved in this in a far more disciplined way than we have before, because I lean on my functional leaders to own their respective domains, to make sure they're articulating what their investment needs are, and that we're rolling that all together in a very thoughtful, systematic way.
Very cool. Well, we will have you back again to talk about culture. Thank you for the straight talk, and enjoy your week.
Thank you. You too, Beth. And I appreciate you conducting these interviews and series. I'm excited about where we are as a business and can't think of a better industry to serve right now. It's a great industry, and super happy to be here.
Very excited. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Beth. Have a great afternoon.